What if I told you that the most important conversation you have every day happens in the final few minutes before you fall asleep? Most people go to bed carrying the weight of their problems. They replay disappointments, worry about tomorrow, and unconsciously impress those fears upon their minds night after night. Then they wake up wondering why life continues to mirror the same struggles. But there is another way. Every night, as your body relaxes and your conscious mind grows quiet, you enter a state of extraordinary creative power. In that brief window before sleep, the barriers between desire and realization become thinner than at any other time of day. What you accept as true in those moments can begin shaping the experiences, opportunities, and circumstances that follow. The secret is not in begging. It is not in wishing harder. It is not in forcing the universe to respond. The secret is learning how to ask correctly. How to ask from certainty rather than doubt, from fulfillment rather than lack, from possession rather than longing. Tonight you can plant a different seed. Tonight you can impress a new story upon your mind. And if you remain faithful to that story, life has a remarkable way of reflecting it back to you. So stay with me until the end, because what you're about to learn could completely change the way you approach sleep, manifestation, and the fulfillment of your deepest desires. There is a moment every night that most people overlook, yet it may be one of the most powerful moments of the entire day. It is the brief period between wakefulness and sleep. When the body begins to relax, the mind becomes quieter, and the attention slowly turns away from the outer world. Most people enter this state unconsciously. They carry into it the worries of the day, the fears of tomorrow, and the frustrations of their current circumstances. Without realizing it, they impress these thoughts and feelings upon themselves night after night. Then they wonder why life continues to present the same experiences. What they fail to recognize is that the state entered before sleep is not merely the end of the day. It is the beginning of the next one. As you prepare for sleep, your conscious effort starts to fade. The critical mind that questions, argues, and doubts begins to soften. In this relaxed condition, ideas are accepted more easily and sink deeper into awareness. Whatever occupies your attention during these moments becomes far more influential than you might imagine. If your final thoughts are filled with disappointment, you continue to energize that disappointment. If your final feelings are centered on lack, you strengthen the experience of lack. Life faithfully reflects the assumptions that are repeatedly accepted as true. This is why the moments before sleep should never be treated casually. They should be approached with purpose. Instead of reviewing everything that went wrong during the day, begin to direct your attention toward what you desire to experience. Turn away from appearances that seem discouraging. Refuse to make current circumstances your final reality. Remember that every visible condition was once an invisible assumption. Every experience first existed as an inner state before it appeared in the outer world. Therefore, the wise person uses the quiet moments before sleep to choose a new state deliberately. Many people believe that asking for what they want requires effort, struggle, or endless repetition of words. Yet true asking is much deeper than spoken language. Your deepest request is revealed through your feeling. What you consistently feel to be true becomes your message to the creative power within. If you feel defeated, you are unknowingly asking for more experiences that confirm defeat. If you feel successful, secure, loved, or fulfilled, you are planting seeds that eventually grow into corresponding experiences. The feeling itself is the request. Tonight, before you close your eyes, become aware of what you are carrying into sleep. Are you carrying fear or faith? Doubt or certainty? Lack or abundance? The answer matters more than you think. The state you occupy before sleep acts like fertile soil receiving a seed. Once planted, that seed begins its invisible work. You may not see immediate evidence, but unseen changes are already taking place. New conditions begin forming long before they become visible. So as the day comes to an end, choose your final thoughts wisely. Let your last feeling be one of fulfillment rather than longing. Let your mind rest upon what you desire rather than what you fear. Enter sleep with the quiet confidence that the inner world is the source of the outer world. The door between worlds opens every night. Step through it consciously, and you may discover that your tomorrows begin changing in ways that once seemed impossible. One of the greatest mistakes people make when seeking a change in their lives is asking from a state of lack. They desire more money, yet they constantly feel poor. They long for love, yet they dwell on loneliness. They seek success, yet they continue to identify with failure. Although their words may express a desire for something better, their feelings tell a completely different story. And it is feeling, not merely words, that shapes experience. The creative power within responds far more deeply to what you accept emotionally than to what you repeat verbally. Therefore, if you wish to receive anything you desire, you must learn the art of asking from fulfillment rather than from need. Consider the difference between these two states. A person asking from lack is aware only of what is missing. Their attention remains fixed on the problem. They continually notice the distance between where they are and where they want to be. Every thought reinforces the idea that the desire has not yet arrived. In this condition, they unknowingly keep themselves separated from the very thing they seek. They are constantly affirming, "I do not have it." Even when they pray, visualize, or hope, the dominant feeling beneath their efforts is often one of absence. Asking from fulfillment is entirely different. It begins with the understanding that your inner state is the true cause of your outer experience. Instead of focusing on what is missing, you begin to focus on what life would feel like if your desire were already a reality. You do not wait for external evidence before allowing yourself to feel successful, loved, secure, or abundant. You choose that feeling first. You move inwardly into the state you wish to experience outwardly. This does not mean pretending or denying current circumstances. It means refusing to let temporary appearances dictate your inner identity. You understand that conditions can change, but states of consciousness create those conditions. Therefore, rather than fighting against what is, you occupy the state of what you desire to become. If you seek financial freedom, begin feeling the relief and confidence that financial freedom would bring. If you desire a loving relationship, feel the warmth, appreciation, and joy that would naturally accompany it. If you seek success, carry yourself inwardly as someone whose efforts have already been rewarded. Before sleep, this practice becomes especially powerful. As your body relaxes and your mind grows quiet, allow yourself to enter the emotion atmosphere of your fulfilled desire. Do not ask as someone hoping to receive. Ask as someone who already possesses. Feel gratitude instead of longing. Feel satisfaction instead of anxiety. Feel certainty instead of doubt. Let these emotions become natural and familiar. Many people abandon this practice because they do not see immediate results. Yet fulfillment must first become an inner reality before it can appear as an outer fact. The seed does not become a tree overnight. It develops in silence before its growth becomes visible. In the same way, your assumption works beneath the surface long before physical evidence appears. Tonight, when you ask, do not ask from emptiness. Do not ask from fear. Ask from fulfillment. Become inwardly what you desire to experience outwardly. The moment you feel the reality of your wish fulfilled, you have moved into the state where transformation begins. From that state, life can do what it has always done. Reflect back to you the truth you have accepted within yourself. Once you understand the importance of asking from fulfillment rather than from lack, the next step is learning how to make that feeling natural and convincing. One of the most effective ways to do this is through the use of a simple mental scene. The mind responds powerfully to images that carry emotional meaning. A carefully chosen scene can help you move beyond wishing and into the experience of already having what you desire. Instead of merely thinking about your goal, you begin experiencing it inwardly. This shift is what transforms imagination from a daydream into a creative force. Many people make the process more complicated than it needs to be. They create long, elaborate fantasies filled with endless details. They imagine entire years of their future, or attempt to visualize every possible step leading to their desire. But complexity often weakens focus. The most effective scenes are usually the simplest ones. They are short, clear, and easy to repeat. A single moment that naturally implies your desire has already been fulfilled is enough. Imagine that your goal is financial abundance. Instead of visualizing every business deal, paycheck, or opportunity that might lead to wealth, imagine holding a bank statement that reflects your success. Imagine hearing a trusted friend congratulate you on your prosperity. Feel the relief and confidence that would naturally accompany such a moment. If your desire is a loving relationship, imagine wearing a wedding ring, receiving a heartfelt embrace, or hearing the words, "I'm so happy we found each other." If your goal is improved health, imagine a loved one saying, "You look amazing. You seem stronger than ever." The scene itself is not important because of its details. It is important because it implies that your desire has already become reality. As you prepare for sleep, gently bring this scene into your awareness. Do not watch it as though you are observing a movie. Experience it from your own perspective. See through your own eyes. Hear the voices around you. Feel the objects you touch. Engage your senses as naturally as possible. Most importantly, allow yourself to experience the emotion that would accompany the fulfilled desire. The feeling is the secret ingredient that gives life to the scene. Repetition is also important. Rather than creating a different scene every night, return to the same one consistently. Repetition allows the experience to become familiar. Over time, what once felt imagined begins to feel natural. Eventually, the scene takes on the quality of a memory rather than a wish. This is when it becomes deeply impressed upon the subconscious mind. You do not need to force concentration or strain to make the scene vivid. Relax into it. Let it unfold naturally. If your attention wanders, gently return to the scene without frustration. The goal is not perfection, but persistence. Even a few minutes of focused imagination before sleep can have a profound effect when practiced consistently. Tonight, choose one simple scene that would occur after your desire has already been fulfilled. Keep it short. Keep it clear. Keep it emotionally meaningful. Then replay it softly as you drift towards sleep. Allow it to become so real that you feel as though it has already happened. In doing so, you are no longer hoping for a new future. You are accepting it inwardly. And what is accepted inwardly has a remarkable way of finding expression in the world around you. After you have chosen your desire and created a simple scene that implies its fulfillment, there is one final step that gives the entire process its power. Falling asleep in the feeling that your wish has already been fulfilled. This is where many people stop too soon. They may imagine for a few moments, but then they return to doubt, worry, or impatience. As sleep approaches, they begin wondering when their desire will arrive, how it will happen, or whether it is even possible. In doing so, they leave the state of fulfillment and return to the state of longing. The secret is not merely to imagine the desired outcome. The secret is to remain faithful to the feeling of fulfillment until sleep overtakes you. The moments immediately before sleep are unlike any other time of day. Your conscious mind becomes quieter and your attention turns inward. In this relaxed condition, impressions sink deeply into the subconscious. Whatever emotional state dominates during these final moments tends to leave a lasting impression. This is why it is so important to choose your state deliberately, rather than allowing fear, frustration, or uncertainty to accompany you into sleep. Carry the feeling that your desire has already been accomplished. Imagine how different your nights would feel if you truly believed that what you wanted was already yours. Would you be anxious? Would you be worried? Would you spend hours questioning the future? Of course not. If your desire were already fulfilled, there would be a sense of relief. There would be gratitude. There would be peace. There would be a quiet confidence that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. These are the feelings you want to cultivate before sleep. Notice that this does not require intense emotion. Many people believe they must feel overwhelming excitement or dramatic enthusiasm. But fulfillment often feels calm. It feels natural. It feels certain. Think about something you already possess. You do not spend every day celebrating its existence because it feels normal to you. In the same way, allow your fulfilled desire to feel natural. Let it become a part of your identity rather than something distant and unattainable. As you lie in bed tonight, return to your chosen scene. Experience it gently. Feel the reality of it. Let gratitude arise naturally. Feel thankful not because your desire might happen someday, but because it has already happened within you. Allow yourself to rest in that conviction. There is no need to force outcomes or control circumstances. Your task is simply to remain loyal to the feeling of completion. If doubts attempt to enter your mind, do not fight them. Simply return your attention to the fulfilled state. Return to the feeling of success, abundance, love, health, or whatever you desire. Let that feeling become stronger than the evidence of your senses. Remember that every visible result begins as an invisible assumption. The inner acceptance comes first, the outer expression follows. Tonight, fall asleep differently. Do not fall asleep wishing. Do not fall asleep hoping. Fall asleep knowing. Carry the feeling of fulfillment with you into sleep, as though your desire were already a fact. Let sleep seal that assumption within you. Then trust that the creative power operating beneath the surface is already arranging the path from imagination to reality. The feeling you fall asleep with tonight may very well become the experience you wake up to tomorrow. Once you have entered the feeling of your wish fulfilled and carried that feeling into sleep, there remains one final lesson that determines whether your desire will mature into visible reality or be delayed by doubt. That lesson is trust. Many people begin this journey with enthusiasm. They imagine their desire feel its fulfillment, and go to sleep convinced that something wonderful is happening. But the following morning, they immediately begin searching for evidence. They look at their circumstances and ask, has anything changed? When they do not see instant results, doubt begins to grow. Soon they become discouraged and abandon the very state that they carefully created the night before. Imagine a gardener planting a seed in fertile soil. After placing the seed in the ground, the gardener does not dig it up every day to check whether it is growing. Doing so would only interrupt the natural process. The gardener understands that growth occurs beneath the surface long before it becomes visible. There is a period of unseen development that must take place before the plant emerges into the light. The same principle applies to every desire. Once the seed of a fulfilled assumption has been planted within consciousness, it begins its work in ways that are often invisible at first. The problem is that many people trust appearances more than they trust the inner act they performed. They look at their current circumstances and allow those circumstances to convince them that nothing is happening. Yet outer conditions are always the result of previous assumptions. They are echoes of past states. If you continue reacting to them as though they are permanent, you keep recreating the same experience. Change begins when you remain loyal to your new assumption, even when the evidence has not yet appeared. This does not mean pretending that challenges do not exist. It means refusing to let temporary appearances define what you know to be true inwardly. If your desire is financial abundance, do not abandon your assumption simply because your bank account has not changed overnight. If your desire is a loving relationship, do not surrender your faith because circumstances still appear unchanged. Continue returning to the feeling of fulfillment. Continue thinking from the desired state rather than about it. Persistence is the bridge between assumption and realization. There is also a tendency to become obsessed with the how. People want to know exactly how their desire will arrive. They attempt to map every step and control every outcome. Yet the moment you become consumed with the process, you shift your attention away from the end result. The creative power within does not require your detailed instructions. Its role is to organize the means. Your role is to remain faithful to the end. Sometimes the path unfolds in ways you could never have predicted. Opportunities appear unexpectedly. New relationships form. Circumstances shift without warning. Looking back, you often realize that events were quietly moving into place long before you became aware of them. What seemed impossible begins to feel inevitable. So once you have planted the seed of your fulfilled desire, leave it undisturbed. Water it with faith. Nourish it with gratitude. Protect it from doubt. Refuse to dig it up through worry, impatience, or constant questioning. Trust that what has been accepted within is already moving toward expression. The unseen is not empty, it is active. And in its own perfect way and perfect time, the seed you planted will reveal the harvest you imagined. As we come to the end of this message, remember one simple truth. Your nights are creating your tomorrows. The state you enter before sleep is not a trivial moment. It is a creative moment. It is the moment when you decide whether you will continue repeating the old story or begin living a new one. Tonight, do not fall asleep as the person who is still waiting. Do not fall asleep as the person who is still struggling. Fall asleep as the person who has already received the answer. Feel the relief. Feel the gratitude. Feel the certainty that your desire is already accomplished. You do not need to know how it will happen. You do not need to force the path. Your only task is to remain loyal to the end you have chosen. Let the feeling of fulfillment become more real to you than any temporary appearance in the outer world. Night after night, return to the same assumption. Return to the same conviction. Return to the same inner knowing, and watch as life begins to rearrange itself in ways you could never have predicted. What you consistently accept within will eventually appear without. The seed planted in consciousness must bear fruit. So tonight, choose carefully, ask wisely, believe completely. Then surrender to sleep, knowing that the creative power within you is already at work. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on the desire you will carry into sleep tonight. Let it be clear, simple, and filled with the feeling of fulfillment. And if you found value in this teaching, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who may need this message right now. I appreciate every one of you who returns to learn, grow, and consciously create a better life. Until next time, may your imagination be powerful, your faith unwavering, and your nights filled with the certainty that what you desire is already finding its way to you. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you in the next